think Man City's form and injury issues have sort of highlighted the need now for the club to go into the January transfer market. Man City in previous years, they've not been so active in the winter windows, but I think many will agree now that they should be this time around.
Yeah.
What do you think Man City's transfer priorities are or should be heading into the new year?
Yeah, I think so. Personally, I would go for two midfielders. I think there's a real chronic need for a midfield reboot, and I think the fact that Guardiola signed 2.5 years is really reassuring for me. Like, if we were going through this run of form right now and Pep wasn't leaving, I'd be terrified. But I do think secretly Pep probably knows the extent of the rebuild. He's never going to say it publicly. He's not stupid. He's not going to come out and turn and go, Kyle Walker can't run anymore. And he can't anywhere near as fast, And he's still a good player, don't get me wrong, but I think his standards have dropped off massively. He's not going to say that publicly because he gets nothing to gain from it. I do really believe that Pep knows that this team does need some players, and I think unfortunately one or two signings haven't quite worked. Some players, even if the quality, some people just can't stay fit. Ake, Stones, people like that, and it's at the detriment of Man City. There's no point be talented if you're not available because it's just. So I think eventually when you look at their ages, like John Stones is 30. I would say going on 33 given these injuries. He doesn't feel like a young 30 these days. 30, he's not a big deal if you're a footballer, but Stones is always. And I love John Stones, but I'm worried. So I think Pep is looking at the squad. And I think when he said, like, I can't leave now, I don't think he was on about, because we lost 4 games in a row. I think it's because he knows that the squad right now probably needs a bit of a shake up. And I think he wants to be the one responsible for it. I don't think he wants to walk away with the squad looking a bit of a mess because, look, we saw it with Ferguson when he left Man United. That was an aging squad and there was turmoil after that. And I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to walk away with a team that's very much capable of winning the league still. And um, so that bearing in mind, with Rodri's injury too, I think we have to presume that Rodri. It sounds really crazy to say this, but you have to act as if Rodri might not come back. Because look, he's going to be out for a long time still. I'd be amazed if he's at his very best for the first for the start of the next season. Or I'd be amazed if he's very best even in a year from now still, because it takes a long time to recover from this. So for that, go for a midfielder in January and start the rebuild or start the integration of the guy who's going to back up or replace or sit alongside Rodri right now. Zubimendi's been obviously mentored an awful lot. He seems a perfect option given his experience, really successful. Obviously, we saw him stepping perfectly for Rodri, for Spain. So I think that makes an awful lot of sense. We're linked to Edison, another Edison at last, the sort of very aggressive physical midfielder, which his legs would be nice. But I mean, I don't just want legs. I think City lack a creative genius. I'm a firm believer the best Guardiola midfielders are the ones that are highly technical that learn how to defend, as opposed to ones who can defend who try and learn how to be highly technical. Because I don't think you can do that. Like, I think it's what made David Silva and De Bruyne such incredible players because they were already genius number 10s. And Guardiola added that work rate. They became these incredible box to box eights. So I think that's what I want to see. I want to see a DM and I want to see them sign a fantastic creative player who Pep can teach how to run. And then, you get this well rounded midfield again. So that's what I want to see in January. I think we'll sign one player. I actually do think City will break a habit of a lifetime then go in because I think the writing's sort of on the wall for City in terms of the squad shape right now. They have to approach it. And if Zubimendi's got a release clause, that's a Man City special. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's around £50 million, about 60 million euros, I think, for Zubimendi, a release clause in his deal. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, first of all, if City are active, and secondly, how much they're willing to spend in January. I think it was in January 2018 when they identified Aymeric Laporte as a target, and they were willing to activate his £57 million release clause. So,
Yeah, yeah.
if they really do want to sign someone who they feel will fit the profile of a Guardiola team, then they may have to fork out a similar fee to get their man. What about maybe a new forward as well to provide competition and support for Haaland? Only him at the moment. No Alvarez, obviously, who was sold in the summer.
Yeah, I don't think City will go in for a forward in January, but I would love it. I think we can't play Haaland every single week. Like and we are doing it way more than we should do because I mean, as much as we can talk about a false nine, Pep is not going to do that in any games that matter, and most of our games matter right now. We're out of the Carabao Cup, so everything else is going to be an FA Cup game, which will do it. But we're talking max 4 games there throughout the season. Everything else, Champions League, Premier League, he's going to play Haaland, which is a disaster waiting to happen. When you look at Manchester City's goals right now, he's got 12, I think, something like that. I think that might be just in the Premier League. I don't know, I can't remember. But either way, everyone else, I think the next highest is 3, I think, or something. It's really low, and like our wingers aren't scoring goals, our midfielders aren't scoring goals. Foden's dropped off. So if Haaland gets an injury, it's panic stations because no one's scoring goals right now. And Um, there was some rumours that Pep was offered Kyogo Furuhashi, the Japanese striker at Celtic, but he didn't really fancy it. Pep said no, apparently, um, which is a shame because I think someone like that, I like signings like that potentially. Someone who's obviously a little bit older, would be very happy to be here, more than happy to sit on the bench, and his movement, is smart. He's a sharp little player, a natural goal scorer. Look, I know it's obviously a lazy comparison, but United did it years ago when they got Henrik Larsson. Like obviously the guy scored a lot in Scotland, and he was sort of like it's not the same level. Like Kyogo's not as good as Larson, but you can get players from different leagues that can be very useful for a bit and more than do a job. And that's what I'd love to see City do. I don't think we will do. It's frustrating though when I sit there and watch Liam Delap be so brilliant again week in week out. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if he's got a release clause maybe or a buyback clause from
Yeah,
City's
I don't
point
think
of
they'll
view. But
activate it though. I don't think they will
no,
do. City don't seem to be want to bring players back like that, but I don't know. Yeah, I'd love it though. I think he's a game changer, Liam Delap. I think he's going to go to the very top. He's a cracking footballer.